is an honor for me to be here with Dr. Joyce Poole, and a particular honor to introduce her. When we talk about world-renowned elephant experts, you are about to hear from one. This lady, well, with elephants, she is the same stature as Jane Goodall with the chimps. She is the elephant lady. She has a PhD from Cambridge University in England. She did postdoctoral research at Princeton University in the USA. She has studied social behavior and communications of elephants for more than 30 years. She did research alongside Cynthia Moss in the Amboseli National Park. Cynthia Moss is another well-known name in the elephant world. And she is the head of the elephant program of the Kenya Wildlife Service in Africa. She's been featured in more than 75 documentaries about elephants, and Ed and I saw one of the documentaries on the airplane coming up here. She provides expert testimony in legal and legislative policy forums as well. Please welcome Dr. Joyce Poole. Here she is.
Thank you so much, Bob. It is an honor. I'm another shorty. It's an honor to be here with you, Bob, with you, Ed, with all of you, with so many people who care so much about the welfare of elephants. I'm not an expert on captive elephants. I know quite a bit about how elephants live in the wild, and that's really what I want to share with you today. I have been so fortunate to spend most of my life in Africa. I met my first wild elephant at the age of 7, actually charging our car. It was terrifying. But I guess that rush of adrenaline gave me a curiosity and a reason for wanting to know more about these animals. And at the age of 19, I got the opportunity to work with Cynthia Moss in Amboseli National Park in Kenya. And I've been working with her and many other people ever since then. At that time, the project was had only been going on for 3 years, and it is now the longest running study of elephants in the world, and where most of our knowledge about elephants comes from. So I want to tell you just a little bit about elephants to give you an idea of how well they've evolved for 62 million years to become what they are today. And so I want to describe a little of that to you. In Amboseli, the population there now is 1,500 elephants, although because of the drought and the poaching, we're having a terrible time there. 117 elephants have actually died this year, so the population is smaller than it was last year for the first time in many years. But although this is actually a small population compared to other populations of elephants, it is still a very large society, and I want to tell you something about that society. In Amboseli, there are 58 elephant families. And those families range in size from just a couple of elephants, a mother and her immediate offspring, to up to 50 individuals in a family. Elephants live in these families. The relationships radiate out from the mother-offspring bond through the family, through extended families or bond groups, through clans, and beyond that to the entire population, and even beyond to strangers. Elephants have a very large social network, as we call it. Much like people, their network ranges beyond their immediate family. And like people, they live in what we call a fission-fusion society. So although family members are often together, they're not always together. They come and go. And one of the ways they keep in touch with one another is through sound, by calling to one another, and through their sense of smell, and even through seismic communication. And this is a lot of what I've spent many years studying is elephant communication and social behavior. In Amboseli, we know from research that elephants know through voice alone at least 100 other adult elephants. And that's a minimum. They probably know every other elephant in the population, and they behave as if they do. In the life of an elephant in the wild, every individual has a sense of purpose. Everything they do, they're active all day long. They may sleep for a couple of hours, but the rest of the time they're on the move. They're on the move searching for something to eat. They're on the move to find mates, to meet up with members of their family. They may have been split up and coming back together. So they have a sense of purpose. And through the course of the day, they make many decisions about who they would like to be with or don't want to be with, where they're going to go to find food. And it's this sort of activity, this curiosity that keeps elephants alive, that makes them thrive. And that, I feel, is one of the things that is really missing in captivity, especially in very small spaces. And I'm an advocate of giving elephants, let's say, 75 square kilometers. People laugh when they hear that. But it's not just about the space. It's about what goes on in that space, what's possible in that space. And so, I mean, Pat Derby and Ed have said to me many times that pause isn't adequate for elephants. And it actually isn't, but we need to give elephants the most space we can give elephants, the more space we can give elephants, the better. So pause is absolutely wonderful. The wild is the best, and a space like Lucy has to put up with, it just isn't adequate. And it isn't adequate because she can't behave like a normal elephant, like how she is evolved to be. Yeah, I want to go back to talking about elephants being very curious animals. And one of the, I said that I've done a lot of work on elephant communication. And if any of you are interested, you can go online to Elephant Voices and look there at an ethogram that we have, both for their body language and their vocal communication. So you can look up what they do in all sorts of different contexts and how they behave. And it's that knowledge of watching elephants in the wild in so many different contexts that has given me a great understanding of what elephants are thinking and feeling, what kind of thoughts and feelings are going on in their minds. And it's through that I can look at an elephant in captivity, even though I haven't studied elephants in captivity. I can look at them and see huge differences in their behavior with how they behave in the wild. We know from work in Amboseli and from work from our colleagues in other areas that elephants are self-aware. We know that they're capable of using and even making simple tools. We know that they have the capacity for empathy, something that we thought only humans were capable of. We know that they have an understanding of death. They have complex emotions. They're capable of imitation. They have the capacity for remembering other individuals, places, and events over many, many years. And this capacity for memory probably rivals our own.